7 most haunted places in Canada. We are all grown up listening to ghost stories and terrifying tales which have scared us since childhood, but what if I tell you there is some truth behind these horror story tales? Yes, Canada has many buildings and locations where such spirits are said to wander. Are you brave enough to visit them? Join us as we explore some of the spookiest locations in a Canadian town, which may leave you terrified. Number 7. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. If you see this scenic hotel, you cannot leave without praising its jaw-dropping beauty, surrounded by beautiful snow-capped mountains and blue waters of Lake Louise. But what if I tell you this stunning hotel has been famous for paranormal activities for decades? You won't believe it, right? I didn't either. The most famous was a bride back in 1920 who fell off the marble staircase on her wedding day and died. The guests in the hotel have reported seeing her in a wedding gown, retreating those steps which caused her to miss the wedding. Sometimes she is seen in the ballroom, where she would have her first dance after her wedding. Another famous story revolves around one of the hotel's head bellmen who spent years working there and passed away after he retired. Since that day, he has been seen wandering the hotel dressed in full uniform, helping the guests with their luggage. Do you still dare to stay at the hotel and enjoy its outstanding beauty? Or did you just give up after listening to these weird stories? Number 6. The King's Playhouse. A very happening place that has been hosting stage theatres and performances for over 100 years. Imagine you are performing on stage and suddenly a ghost grabs your ankle or wrist during the performance. Yes, the King's Playhouse has a ghost named Captain George who grabs the ankles of the performers on the stage. The building was said to have been illegally built on the sailors' graveyard, so Captain George has been haunting the playhouse since then. The ghost visits the theatre during showtime, dressed in a long coat and carrying a lit lantern. What's more interesting is the front row seat of the auditorium is reserved for Captain George by the theatre staff. If you are brave enough, why not experience it yourself? Just take the show at King's Playhouse and don't get scared if Captain George grabs your ankle during the performance. Number 5. Five Fishermen Restaurant. We all love dining out, but how about dining with ghosts? Head to Five Fishermen Restaurants in Canada if you want to experience it. The building was once a morgue and looked after the Titanic disaster's victims before it turned into a restaurant. Several ghostly activities are seen in a restaurant, such as glasses flying off the shelves and chairs and tables sliding across the floor. You may also experience some voice whispering your name. In addition, you will find taps turning on and off on their own. You can also hear an argument coming from the captain's room when the room is actually empty. With such paranormal activities, would you dare eat your food peacefully? Number 4. Peggys Point Lighthouse. You are spending a day watching the waves crash and exploring the rocks on the lighthouse when suddenly you see a ghostly appearance standing on the edge of the rocks. How would you react? If I were you, I would have fainted. This picturesque lighthouse in Canada is no different. Let me tell you its darker story if you don't know it already. Back in the 1800s, there was this woman who got shipwrecked and lost her children. The woman survived the wreck, grieving their loss. Her husband, in order to cheer her up, danced on the rocks. He slipped, crushing his skull, and unfortunately died. The woman was left alone and committed suicide by jumping into the sea. Since then, visitors have seen her ghost standing on the edge of the rocks, ready to jump. Plan to go only if you are not faint-hearted. Number 3. Ottawa Jail Hostel. If you are planning a stay in the jail's hostel, let me give you a heads up before you die out of fear. For over a century, the hostel was a jail, and since then, it has been known as one of the spookiest buildings in Canada. The conditions of jail was horrible back then with tiny cells and no windows. As a result, many prisoners died and were buried on the spot. The hostel has witnessed paranormal activity since then. The most common is the ghost spotted at the foot of the bed while the person sleeps. That ghost is believed to be Patrick James, who was hanged for murdering a politician. If you woke up in the middle of the night during your stay in a hostel and found a man standing on the edge of your bed, that must be Patrick James. Will you plan a stay in the jail's hostel, or you gave up already? Number 2. Craigsderrick Castle. Craigsderrick Castle is one of the few castles in Canada that is known as the spookiest among all. The question is, why is the castle haunted? Before knowing its dark side, let's get into its background first. The castle was built for a coal miner named Robert Dunsmuir and his family. However, Dunsmuir died some months before its completion and couldn't get a chance to live there. Once the castle was complete, Robert's widow lived there for the rest of her life until her death. Since then, there have been several ghostly activities witnessed inside the castle. If you go there, you will hear a piano playing alone when there's no piano. If you are daring, make your way to the castle's basement, where you can see a child's spirit staring at the ground. Want to approach it? You cannot, as it will vanish before you reach it. You will also witness a woman dressed in white roaming around the castle. But who is that woman? Yes, you guessed it right. Joan Dunsmuir she is. Number 1. The Prince George Hotel. Whether you are a ghost hunter or looking for a scary place for this Halloween, hop in your car and explore Prince George's Hotel instead. This hotel in Kingston was originally the home of a family which lives there. Lily was the daughter of a couple who fell in love with a sailor, but her parents came in between their relationship and didn't approve of it. Lily didn't give up and tried to meet his lover, despite her parents not allowing her to meet him. He hung a lit lantern in the window of her room to let her know when it was safe to visit. Alas, the fire caused an accident and Lily died in the fire during sleep. Although the building is no longer Lily's residence but a hotel now, you can still see her figure standing at the 3rd floor window, waiting for her lover's return. That's it for today to our Haunted Places series. Go check these out yourself and let us know the creepy occurrences you experience in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We will be back again with more exciting videos soon. See you